let's get started. Most people think finding your path is about a clear plan and a straight road. But the truth is, it's all about embracing the twists and the turns. How amazing would it be if at a young fetus, at a young age, we knew what we wanted to do with life? We knew what to invest in. We knew what courses to take. We knew what degree, what career path ultimately bring us to our final end goal. How amazing would that be? What if I told you the struggles you faced might be exactly what's preparing you for your purpose? As difficult as that is to comprehend, and when I say difficult, nobody wants to experience difficulties, but I would have to agree with this point. The struggles that you face might be exactly what's preparing you for your purpose. Struggles suck. Struggles, of course, they develop your character. They show you grit. They make you really value what it is you're working for. Because imagine if everything was handed to you, yes, it would be nice, but would you actually learn from it? Would you actually benefit from it? Would it actually help you get better as a person? But it would be nice. I am not going to lie. If you've ever felt lost or unsure of where you're headed, you're not alone. Trust me. You're not alone, because from 18 to I'd probably say 28, 10 years, it took me 10 years to somewhat understand the path I want to go to. Because I think the reason I bring this up, because I think there's a distinction between surviving and a distinction between your purpose and your path and your passion, because we all need to work. We all need to do these things in order to survive, right? But what I'm trying to put forward through this video is how you're going to be able to find your path in a way that propels you forward so that you don't have to work that dead-end job. You don't have to feel like you're just selling your soul, you're selling your time. And that if our purpose in this universe is to provide value and we get paid for that value, my goal for this video is to help you find that value in a way which you're able to provide that value to the world through this video. By the end of this, you'll see the path to your true calling in a way that you have never before. Again, just another structured way of saying what I said before, all right? So, let's get into it. Point 1, here's where most people get stuck. They think they have to have it all figured out right away. But here's the truth. Your path often reveals itself as you move forward, not before. I know a really good analogy for this, all right? Imagine you're driving in your car and it's dark outside and you have your headlights on, all right? Whatever diameter or radius your headlights are able to project their light into is what you're only able to see, right? So it is only until you move your car forward that you're able to really understand what's the path ahead of you, right? And I think that same analogy applies to your life, right? If you feel like you have to have everything figured out, yes, it would be nice, but I think that's something that's called wisdom, right? But if you feel like you have to have something, you need to have everything figured out, you're not going to move, right? And in order for you to fully understand your path, fully understand your mission, your purpose, you need to move forward. You need to have that understanding that, yes, I'm going to move forward. I may not have everything fully comprehended, I might not fully understand everything, but what I'm going to do is take the next best step forward. I'm going to use my rational thinking. I'm going to use all the knowledge I've gained so far. I'm going to use my common sense, and I'm going to be risk averse, and I'm going to take the next best step forward, right? And you do that enough times, eventually you take that next step forward, whether it be, for example, for the longest time when I was in school, I had no idea what I wanted to do, right? And I think the biggest reason was because I wasn't exposed enough when I was in school. I think I was restrained. I held back from joining certain clubs, being friends with certain people, because I felt like I wasn't good enough. So I think that hindered me in my perspective of what's possible in this world, right? But now that I've realized that, I take advantage of that by more so trying to really figure out what it is I'm passionate about and what it is I'm interested in and the type of value I want to provide in this world. And I also try to find the intersection of that between what's actually needed in this world. Where's the market headed, right? Because let's say I'm interested in rocks, but rocks doesn't help you make a living, then what's the whole point, right? So I try to find things where it's like there's the market demand and there's also something I'm passionate in, something I'm talented in, right? Find that intersection. And I advise the same thing for you too. If you're starting off in school or you're a spider or you're looking for that career change, right? Take that time to really, how do I put this? Find that time to really figure out what it is, like what's meant for you, right? I'll give you guys a story, all right? So my whole educational background is all over the place, right? I initially went to college right after high school for nursing. But I dropped out after like the first semester because I just couldn't do it. There was a lot that came with it, and I just felt like it didn't really speak to me, right? And I think I was thinking more so of just like how I felt at the time, which depending on where my life goes, we're gonna look back at that and see how it actually turned out. But after dropping out of nursing school, I went to community college where I took a whole bunch of random classes, a whole bunch of GEDs, and I fell in love with this whole idea of psychology. And then after completing my GEDs, while I was in school, I actually got into dropshipping, e-commerce, right? It was kind of big at the time. And I really got interested in digital marketing, right? And I combined psychology and digital marketing as a way to somewhat make a living, right? There was this whole pipe dream of you can make money off dropshipping, right? And then I got into sales, right? So now I got into sales. I was interested in psychology. So it's kind of everything was leading up to one thing. And then I had this realization of this whole leverage thing where you work for a job and you spend your time for hours, right? You exchange your hours for money. But then I had this realization of where if you knew how to leverage technology, you could have more time back, right? Because let's say one piece of code was always running for you. So you would be able to leverage, if you were to leverage psychology, right? Sales, for example. Sales, you'd have to be in person, right? But if you were to leverage psychology, you could be in a lot of places at once. If you were to leverage code, for example, you could be running 24/7, right? So first it was psychology, digital marketing, e-commerce, sales, and then this whole idea of leverage where I could leverage my time, right? So that's why I pursued computer science, right? And then of course the job market for computer science is cooked right now. So now I'm YouTube, kind of like this unsteady path, but I think that the commonality is there if you really think about it, right? This whole idea of how to speak to people, how to understand people through psychology, and leveraging technology in ways where I'm able to reach more people, right? So now that I'm thinking about it, it's more so just like this whole business mindset for psychology, right? Understanding people, sociology, all that stuff, all the ologies. And then sales, e-commerce, right? How to digitize stuff, how to sell a product online using certain digital copywriting, for example, copywriting, thumbnails, all that stuff. That's psychology behind that. And then computer science, the technical side of things. Now YouTube. So that's what my path is on. Of course, everyone's path is different, but has it worked out for me? I'm still unemployed, single, live at home, 28. So to some people, it may not seem like it's been working out, but I think if you I don't want to overuse this word, but the entrepreneur, the business mindset, it's part of your journey. You know what I mean? I think you really have to ask yourself why you're interested in these things and really analyze the decisions you've made when you were younger. And yes, maybe it may not make sense at the time, but maybe if you take a broader perspective, you're going to realize that they were all accumulating towards a bigger path for you. All right, back to the notes, all right? So here's what you can do today. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, take one small step forward. Trust that clarity will come along the way. Honestly, as I mentioned, my whole 10-year span of everything I've done, I'd have to agree with this. Yes, I may not be in the most ideal position, but I think it's not over till it's over. And I think if you disregard everything you've done up to this time, then you're going to disregard a portion of who you are. So follow your natural talents, follow your natural passions, but also find a way to be in that intersection of what's actually in demand, and right now and also in the future too. So, all right, point 2. You've probably been told to follow your passion, right? As I just said. But let me show you why that advice is often incomplete. All right, so now the script is going against my own advice, but respectfully, we're going to follow the script, see what it says, all right? Think of it like planting a seed. You don't see the plant immediately, but with time, care, and patience, it grows. Your passion doesn't always show up right away. It's developed through action. That is facts. I think you just have to try things out, especially if you're young in your career and you don't really have that many responsibilities. Or maybe you can reflect on this if you're later in your career, right? You just got to do things, especially if you're early on in your career, right out of high school or college, or for example, try things out. Join the clubs, join the sports, or intern at that company, or work at that job. Start that business. Try it out. But be risk averse. You know what I mean? People say having a backup plan is bad, but just be risk averse is all I'm saying. Be risk averse, understand. Because think about it, it's a long-term game. When motivation fades, but the disciplines and the way you structure your life, it's like chess, like game theory, right? Have you ever noticed how things you're passionate about often come to life after you start working on them, not before? That is true. Especially right out of high school. And I think this was because I wasn't as involved. So my advice for you, if you're in high school still, just be involved in a lot of sports, a lot of clubs, explore your passions, right? But for me, as I wasn't as involved, especially in high school and in college, I'd probably say just try out different things. Find out what you're passionate about and really stretch your limits. I think that's kind of why a lot of college apps, they look for students who are multidimensional. I think because of a lot of domains intersect. So if you're musically gifted, maybe you're good at math. Or if you play video games, maybe you're good at coding. So don't be afraid to explore your passions. And I'm not even saying school has to be a requirement. If you there are a lot of Twitch streamers or YouTubers out there or social media people that just make it big off social media. And if that's your thing, then be risk averse, but go all in. You only have one life to live, but if you do it right, one life is all you need. All right. So the script's advice: start experimenting. Try different things and see what lights you up. Your passion is waiting for you to give it a chance. True. Because I think the worst thing that you could do in life is live a life of regret. Because you're only your age right now, and you're only getting closer to death. You know what I mean? We're not getting any younger, right? So just don't live that life of regret. If you have that potential in you and you see a vision for yourself, just go all in. Be risk averse, but go all in. You know what I mean? All right, let's see. We're about halfway through the points. Let me know what you think in the comments so far. And let's move on to point 3. Think about the last time you felt stuck or uncertain. What if I told you that the real reason for that was actually fear of failing, not lack of direction? So the point is saying that the reason you feel stuck is because you have a fear of failure, not lack of direction. I think this is so true as you age. I feel like when you're young, you just are so fearless. I was supposed to be a millionaire by 25. Now it's just I don't know. I feel like when you're young, you just are so fearless. But I think as you age, as you get more mature, something happens to you. And I'm speaking to you as someone who's 28. You know what I mean? Something happens to you as you get older. You become more in touch with reality, I think. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but as you age, you become more in touch with reality. You see how expensive things are getting. It's weird because when you're younger, you just have the world is your oyster. But as you age, you realize how fast time passes, really. Once you realize fear is just part of the process, you won't let it stop you from moving forward. All right, so once you realize that the fear is part of the process, you won't stop it from letting you move forward. So I'd probably say for me, because I have somewhat of a financial responsibility, that's the only thing that's holding me back in terms of fear, right? Because I know I have to pay monthly for what I'm required to pay for. And that's kind of what I mean. When you're older, you have more financial responsibility too. So that fear is there in the back of your head. But when you're younger, it's just you have no fear. But my advice for people that are in their 20s and you're watching this is if you have that fear of, I have things to pay for, I think maybe ask yourself, is your passion or your dream or what you're sacrificing for right now, is it worth the fear that you're experiencing? Right? If you feel like you're working a job right now where it doesn't really speak to you, is it worth the expenditures that you may be experiencing? Is it worth living where you currently live? Is it worth everything that you put up with? Is it worth all that stuff? Because maybe you don't have to make that jump right away. Maybe you have that in the back of your head ways you're going to move forward, right? So if you're working a job that you don't really like, maybe you could work that job still, but you save money now and you have direction and control over your spending about how you're going to escape and do your own thing or go back to school, or you have that escape plan in the back of your head about what it is you're going to do and how you're going to escape your current situation if it isn't where you want to be. So take one small action, even if you're scared. You'll feel a shift in your mindset. Totally true. I think the financial one is a big thing too, especially if you, let's say, for example, already have a career path and then you've spent your whole life doing it. And I think I know that the advice is going to be different for a lot of people, right? If you already have people you're taking care of, or maybe, I think it applies actually. Maybe if the results may not be as quick as you would like them to in terms of how quickly you can leave your job or how quickly you can change careers if you have a family already. But maybe in the back of your head, you're going to maybe set up a fund or maybe just learn on the side. Use your spare time to just learn and get better. All right, let's see. Point 4, the final game changer. Here's why most people never fully step into their purpose. They don't realize the power of alignment. I probably have to agree with that too. I think, and there's this whole saying of like how money is the root of all evil and how people are willing to do whatever it takes for money. And I would be lying if I used to think like that, or if I still even do. But I think if you're aligned and you're on your purpose, you're going to use your purpose to attract money, not necessarily be like a slave to money. Because we all need money to survive, we all need money to live. But if you're able to do it in a way, if you're able to attract money in a way through something that you're genuinely passionate about, or through something that you find you're talented in, right? Or something that you work hard towards to build, I think that even like the most difficult days you'll be able to get through because of what you're working on. It speaks to you. You don't have to be perfect, just align with what feels true to you. I think a question I like to ask myself too is like, if money wasn't an issue or a concern, what would you spend your free time doing, right? Let's say you've already traveled, you've already had all the luxurious goods, if money wasn't an issue for you, what would genuinely make you happy? What would make you not go insane because of boredom? And I think if you're able to answer that, you're able to understand what will make you feel fulfilled. I think for me, it's genuinely helping people. It's creating content like this. I know it's not perfect. It's not the most ideal advice. It's not the most perfectly edited. But just me, if I were to impact you in one way or the other, it makes your life 1% better just by you watching this video, then I'll genuinely be happy. Of course, I need to make money too. But I don't think money is the real reason why I do this video, why I make these videos. It's nice though. I would be lying if I said it wasn't a goal of mine. Of course, I want to get monetized, have brand deals, all that stuff. But I think even if I still was, when that happens for me, I get monetized and all that stuff, I'd probably still make videos, especially with this type of content, because I know what it's like to feel down. I know what it's like to be at your lowest point. It's currently like what I'm trying to like push past right now. And if I'm able to help you get past your lowest point and you tell me, I heard this quote, right? I helped someone get to the top of the mountain. And I also realized by me doing that, I also was at the top of the mountain. So that's mentality when it comes to it too. I help you get out of your rut or whatever it is, right? Because I know what it's like, right? And of course, by the stuff I teach or the stuff I learn about, of course, I'm going to apply this to my own life too. And eventually it's going to force me to get better too. So we'll both be at the mountain, top of the mountain. You know, I feel like once money is like terrible, like what else is there to do in life? And that's kind of trying to like, you know, it's like a work in progress. Like I said, with this whole like content aspect or context, it's a work in progress. You know? If you start living in alignment, your values and passions, everything starts to click into place. Opportunities begin to appear and your path becomes clear. True. I think that's why I think it's important to it's like a long-term game. You know, fall for the shiny object syndrome, you know, and utilize compound interest. You know, your efforts are going to compound, you know, you're going to get better. Things are going to work out for you. You know, let me ask you this. Are you ready to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start living in alignment with who you truly are? Of course. All right. As we wrap it up, I'm just going to kind of over like the biggest takeaways from this video, from basically the script pretty much. All right. If there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this. Your path isn't something you find. It's something you create through action, alignment, and embracing fear. What's one small shift you can make today to start aligning with your true purpose? Drop a comment if this resonated with you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on your own journey. Crazy stuff. You know what it's like to not really understand or know what your path is. I know what it's like to feel lost. I know what it's like to be around people who have everything figured out and you're kind of here like, what is going on? Why hasn't it clicked for me yet? And off the dome, no script, no filter, my advice for you was to simply do this. Ask yourself, what are you naturally talented at? Ask yourself, what are you genuinely passionate about? Ask yourself, what is in demand in the market? Find a way to find that intersection between all three, like the Venn diagram. And understand that whatever answer you come up with right now is going to change. Understand that you are a blossoming individual who is going to grow and develop beautifully in this world, and you are going to make it because you have value and you're going to change the world one day. But it starts right now. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Understand that your journey is unique to you, and your struggles, your hardships, your inability to understand what your path is going to be the greatest aspect of your story. When you're telling people about how you made it and your story, you're going to inspire them because of the fact that you pushed through. All right. So if you made it this far to the video, as always, I thank you. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It would help the channel grow. It would help the channel get one step closer to monetization. And it would help me reinvest back into the business. Editing, maybe better camera quality. See where it takes us. If you believe in the vision, if you believe in the purpose, if you believe in the journey, go ahead and subscribe. With that being said, I will be seeing you next video. Peace.